So we're officially live. So welcome back, everyone. As always, this is not financial advice, and I'm not a financial advisor. Today, we're going to be talking about Illuvium in some decent detail. We're going to be talking about kind of what Illuvium is about. If you're unsure about it, we'll be fielding questions at the end, of course, for about 10 minutes for a small Q&A. We'll also be talking about if Illuvium can onboard effectively in the future, and how long until we get that mass adoption we're all looking for, right? So mass adoption is all obviously maybe a whiles away, but there's so much happening in the world at the moment that could mean it's fast-tracked, okay? And I have two awesome guys on here today. They're going to help me talk about that, right? So with me today, I have TSG and Iluanor. You guys know Iluanor pretty well on my channel now. He's got his little lizard in the corner. He's part of the ETH lizards. And yeah, so he comes from an investment banking background. He knows a lot about Illuvium. He's a whale, but more importantly, he understands tokenomics, solidity, and everything as well, really, really well. A lot better than I ever will, and probably many people in this space as well, which is definitely a great asset to have, not only on the channel, but in the Illuvium community overall. And TSG is a bit new on the block. He's only made a couple of Illuvium videos so far, but they've been really informative and really helpful. TSG, did you want to introduce yourself a bit further?
Yeah, man, what's good? What's up, guys? Yeah, TSG. Yeah, I don't know how to introduce myself, honestly, man. I've been in this space. I got into Illuvium last September, so I have been around. And I've kind of watched you, Scoriox. I've kind of watched Vetamore grow and see everything. But yeah, I don't know what to say about me, man. I'm from Australia. So shout out to the Warwick brothers, Australia. Let's go. But yeah, man, honestly, we'll talk and I'll kind of just let it happen. I don't know how to introduce myself.
What dragged you to Illuvium? So you jumped in September. Why? How
yeah,
much, everything.
Yeah. So what actually happened was, so I've been investing and getting into the finance space, just like in stocks and whatnot, like last year, end of 2020. So 2021, it was just very like stock heavy. And I was doing a bit of crypto. Like my crypto portfolio was like 5%, 10%, 50%. And then you know how it goes, it slowly gets bigger and bigger. And at the time, it was just like the whole Bitcoin, Ethereum thing. And over time, I don't know what happened. We had a bit of a lockdown because of the world situation in around like that September part in China. It kind of happened again. We had a bit of a lockdown. And I don't know how it happened or what got suggested, but the whole play to earn space started getting suggested to me on YouTube. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. But none of the games really was like, none of the games made me feel like, yo, I want to play this. Like, I want to earn money doing this. It was all like, oh, yeah, it's cool. The concept is cool, but none of these games. And just because I had a lot of time, I just did a lot of research and just kept on watching and watching and watching. I was like, oh, literally just go on YouTube. Top play to earn games. Top play to earn games 2021. Top play to earn games 2022. And Illuvium kind of just popped up. And just from watching it, I was like, oh, cool. This game actually looks cool, but again, in my mind, I was like, it could just be a cinematic, this, that. But then I started watching the interviews with Kieran, and that kind of got me hooked. Like just seeing his energy and the way he talked about it, I was like, yo, this concept, this idea is sick. And then from there, yeah, that's how I got introduced to Illuvium, and I just went deep diving into all the interviews, the Discord, and yeah, and then I just started. That's how I started, essentially. It was just, honestly, just luck. I don't know, just the universe kind of just popping it in there, being like, yo, you have time right now, like because of the lockdown. I'm going to show you this, and you're just going to spend all your time doing this. And that's essentially what happened.
And did you stack anything, or like are you looking for lands?
So I started, because again, like I said, I came in more from the financial side, the investment side. So the thing that really got me involved was, that got me excited was the tokenomics. Because when they started explaining the tokenomics and things like that, I was like, yo, this is insane. The whole idea of like 100% revenue distribution back to the stakeholders. Because again, as like an original stock investor, most stock people that get into stocks learn about dividends. And you hear the dividends are like, 2%, 1%. And that's not even
7%.
Like, yeah, and it's like, 7% on like a real estate investment card, like a REIT is a good dividend. So you're like, oh, like that's crazy. And then you go to something where 100% of the revenue is being distributed. That concept was like, yo, this is insane. But seeing how, like, again, they have the vault that the plans to have that vault, which also stakes, which means they also get revenue, which means they can still fund the project and everything, but everyone gets their fair share. It just, Yeah, so I got into the investment side, and I originally started staking with just the ILV pool because like I said,
everybody,
I was,
like
yeah,
not
exactly, right. I was,
locked on ILV. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Because I was on, because I was a Bitcoin, Ethereum holder, right? I wasn't a trader. I never was a trader, so I'd never done staking or anything like that before. So the concept of staking, I was like, oh man, interesting. Illuvium staking kind of made sense. You stake Illuvium and you get Illuvium back. That seemed very simple to me. And the liquidity pool took me a bit more time to understand. So it was only after I'd been in the staking pool for a month or two that I learned about the liquidity pool, learned how to use Sushi Swap, learned what impermanent loss was, and then now I'm leaning more heavily towards the Sushi liquidity pool. Yeah, man. So, but also that's the investment side. But yeah, I am super keen for the game. I think the game looks awesome. Take away the investment side now, the game actually looks mad. So I'm super keen for that.
When you say the game, you're thinking Illuvium or also Illuvium Zero, and you're looking at the land as an investment. I'm just doing you the full question.
Yeah, yeah. Because I feel like it's an interview of me now. No, so the gameplay that I'm personally more excited for is the Illuvium Overworld. Like the collection, the order battle, the battler, that Illuvium main game is what I'm super keen for. As a gamer, as a player of games. Illuvium Zero, I'm interested to see. I kind of mentioned in my last video, I'm very interested to see what happens with that. I'm probably going to skip out on the first land sale, just because I want to see the process. I want to see how everything goes and how it works and everything like that. I'll probably get into the second land sale if I'm able to. But I want to see how it works, and I want to see how like the structure of using the fuel there and how the revenue gets distributed, all of that for the Illuvium Zero I'm interested for. But the game looks sick, man. Like I've got a video talk coming out probably today about comparing it with Pokemon. So Illuvium and Pokemon, the inspirations and comparisons. And one of the things that like is just, man, I love Pokemon. Like people, I'm not gonna say, we can't cuss, right? We can't swear. People like talk bad about Pokemon right now, but I think all of us growing up, we had I don't know. Did you guys love Pokemon? Did you guys play Pokemon? What was your?
Well, we see Pikachu behind you.
Yeah. Oh, that yeah. No, that's because I play Smash Bros competitively, and Pikachu is my character.
Okay.
But yeah, like we all love Pokemon, but I feel like as we grew older, Pokemon didn't grow with us, and it sucks because like it used to be such a fun, magical thing, and it just didn't grow with us. Whereas I feel when I looked at Illuvium, that looks sick. It feels like that feeling of, yo, I want to go out and spend my time, catch them all. I want to battle. I want to learn.
Right? You want to get them all. Plus, what I really like, because I had exactly the same evolution as you, right?
Yeah.
Games with. Cool. I didn't look for it. I actually saw a video on TikTok. Then I saw interviews. And what is really cool, and since I think it was one of the topic of the podcast today, is this idea of having limited emission and sets, and then you can still play with them, but you will never get them anymore, and you'll have to buy them. It just, so I did play Pokemon Go for a while, then I got bored. But it's the idea of, you get Articuno, you get Pikachu, and in 2 years from now, you'll never get it again. And maybe, Atlas is like the Pikachu of the game so far, kind of. Maybe it's just or Squeeze. And people will have to buy it. So I'm actually thinking of, not evolving everything and keeping a lot of the stage one to just sell to newcomers. And
what are your guys like plans? Like because I know some people want to be full like resource hunters, like resource collectors and sell resources. Some people want to go into the game being like, I want to be the very best. Other people want to like, just buy, capture and sell. Like, what are you guys trying to do? What's your approach?
I want to keep up with the meta as much as I can. So I want to own one of every stage one alluvial at a minimum, so that I can play competitively into the future as much as I can. If they become scarce and maybe valuable, sure, so be it. That's a nice bonus. But it'll be more about that. I also want to, I don't know. I want to focus on collecting, but I also want to be as competitive as I possibly can, whether it be for the channel or otherwise. I mean, try and participate in the tournaments, not really for prize money or anything, just to try and get my name on the top of the leaderboard. Really, I mean that's what it'll be about for me. I think the competitive genre that they're building here will be very valuable, and will be I would say revolutionary in a lot of ways if they can do it right. And it looks like it's heading in that direction. So I think it'll be the next big competitive game, and I want to be I want to try my hand at trying to be really good at that. What about you, Iluanor?
I want to try everything. So yeah, competition I'll definitely try at the beginning. I think long term, if you play TFT or some other game, like getting at the top is like really hard. But at the beginning, well, it might be a niche, so maybe we got a shot. Like I think most people will come. I think I'll be a good player, but I don't think I'll be able to be the top of the top. Some 12-year-old will just have more time than me, but no, I really like the idea of good. Yeah,
I think the difference there is that it is a little bit pay to win in some ways. I mean, like a 12-year-old will have to get money somewhere to be able to field a team.
Yeah, but that's what they said about Magic. At some point, there is an interview where Aaron, or I think it was Aaron, mentioned that if we speak of the actual competition where there is prize money, it's the normalized one. So you just need a basic atlas, especially when we start, not 5 years from now when you're missing characters. But right now, the first year, you should be able to get all the basics one with not that much of an investment, because there'll be so much money in in-game rewards, survival mode, etc. That maybe you start with 50 and then there's so much money being poured in that you got a shot. But yeah,
you never know. I think it's gonna go somewhere really. All right, so let's jump into our first topic today, and we're going to talk about what is Illuvium. Now, obviously, this topic is extremely broad, so let's try and narrow it down a little bit. So, can one of you guys go through, or maybe TSG can start us off, and go through the standard game flow of Illuvium? So, like, you put money in to do what? And what is your outcome? Like really as simple and basic as we can about a player's primary goals. If we ignore the investing side for now, maybe Iluanor can talk about that instead.
Yeah. So essentially, like what Aaron, Kieran have mentioned before, bare bones, basic. You put money in, you go in for a 30-minute to an hour experience. They've said you explore a world, you capture monsters called alluvials. And you come out with your NFTs. That's it. That's exactly it. And to capture them, what you need to do is battle. You have to go through a battle experience, an auto battle experience. But what they've compared it to is like the whole trading cards thing. And it's legitimately, the way I look at it is exactly the same. You go into the shops, you pay some money, you open the pack of cards, and now you have them. Same with Illuvium. That's honestly the most basic breakdown. So I don't know if that answers the question in the most basic form for you guys, but
I think there's a lot of ways this is gamified. So obviously we're simplifying it quite a bit, but
of course,
you go into this world, and you don't even just need to capture alluvials. Oh my god.
Yeah. Ayo.
But you can mine resources and things as well. So the idea of Illuvium in a crypto sense is that every single fuel, resource, alluvial, anything, portrait is all either an NFT or an ERC20 token, okay? And this is all an immutable X, so it shouldn't need any gas fees, but some of this might be a little bit of a down the road kind of, it should launch on immutable X, but there may be a gas fee here and there, maybe to add money and things like that. Shouldn't really be any for the in-game transactions or anything. Can you tell us a bit more, Iluanor?
Yeah, so one aspect I think was not mentioned is also the tier 0 alluvials, which it's really hard to know how it will be used. But long term, even if a lot are captured, long term they might have a small value because, well, you cannot find them anymore. Plus you need them in the competition. So a point that was made, so it was somebody with a lot of money will want to just go in a region immediately. And you might, we're all starting at the same point. That's something extremely important in Illuvium. Everybody start from the beginning equal. There's no whitelisting, there's no buying of from fire before the others, nothing like that. So if you got more money, you might want to be of the first to get more advanced Illuvium and not lose time getting the tier 1, the tier 0. So you might, but you still want them because you might need them for actual competition. So you'll buy them. So that's another way where people will be able to get in. And then yes, it seems there's so many different ways to actually play the game, right? It seems you need fuel, but you also need different type of I don't want to say element because element is Formula 1.0, but it seems there are stones. They've been leaking a lot of data, and it seems there are stones, there are plants, many plants, and you need to combine all that to be able to do something. So, for instance, when they were speaking of healing your illuvials, you've been fighting in whatever way. They lost their life, like they are fainted, and they need to be healed. And they were saying, you might just be able to wait a day, or you'll be able to go in like a tier 0 region if you don't have money and grab a lot of herbs and get what they need, but it will take you like 30 minutes or 20 minutes. Or, well, you can use silver, SILV or some other thing. But I think that a lot of ways.
Yeah. So maybe we should talk about the investing side quickly now. Now, I'm going to try and add something to my screen. Now, this is going to be interesting.
But my guy changing heads every few seconds.
So do you want to? I'll talk about this a bit later. But did you want to go on to the investing side, TSG, and talk about kind of like what the tokens are and what they might be able to do for you? Of course, not financial advice. And just quickly, everyone, everyone's channel links are in the description down below. So if you want to see their channel, check it out. Subscribe to them, follow, throw a like on this video as well. Then you can do all that as well. And I would really appreciate it. I'm sure these guys would as well. So take it away.
100%. Yeah, man. So the investing thing. So with investing in Illuvium right now, the best thing that we can do is obviously get involved with the Illuvium token, the ILV token. So I think a lot of newcomers think that the ILV token is used in game. It's not. We already know that. But hey yo. So no, it's fine. It's fine. So the purpose of the ILV token is essentially it's a governance token. So it correct me if I'm wrong, or like tell me if I'm missing something out. But as far as I see, and I think I'm right, there's two main purposes for the ILV token. One is governance, voting rights for council members and whatnot. So that's the governance side. And then the other is and the other is the ability to stake it and get revenue distribution from it. Oh, there's three purposes, right? You've got governance, you've got staking, which allows for rev-divs, and you've got just price appreciation as a token if you want to hold it without staking it. So those are the three main functions I can see from it.
You also get rewards in ILV from the survival mode in the game.
If you have the ILV token?
You don't need it to get that, but you receive it in ILV. So it's a form of rewards.
Yes. Yeah, so I was talking about the ILV token. But yeah, you do get, because even in-game, the rewards, they're saying that they've put away, I think it's 1 million, right? 1 million tokens for in-game rewards?
I think so, over 3 years.
Yeah. So yeah, the in-game rewards that we will be getting are going to be ILV tokens. But yeah, so the three things that you can do, like I said, the most basic form is just holding it for people that don't want to stake, lock in their thing. Because now with V2, you've got a minimum 1 month stake, 1 month lock. So if you don't want to lock it, just hold it and play the market. And if that's what you want to do, sell it just at a price appreciation. The second thing is the Illuvium staking pool that we said, which is it's pretty simple to understand. You stake your Illuvium and they pay you back out in Illuvium. If you want, we can go in deeper about how staking and all that works with the locking period, vesting periods and whatnot. But
I think maybe not. I think we'll leave that to all of our channels to do that sort of thing.
Exactly.
These topics are quite complex and there's a lot that goes
100%.
into it.
Exactly.
And we definitely want to make sure to explain it well because I think it's one of the strongest tokenomics out there. But yeah, we don't want to rush that. So we'll move on to our next topic for now. But I wanted to talk about. So my title in the video is "The Future is Here." Okay. What does that really mean? Now, that really means that people are able to onboard into crypto effectively. That is probably one of the biggest missing pieces of the puzzle here. I'm not talking just Illuvium here. I'm talking in general. There is a lot of things holding everyday people from getting involved.
Yeah.
Now, there's a lot going on in the world, and it shows why crypto has an advantage and has a lot of power in the world and what it can do, but also it's very scary and dangerous as well. So VV, I don't know if you guys are too familiar with it, but in my personal opinion, I think it has one of the strongest onboarding systems out there. Basically, PayPal on your card or whatever, put it on the app. You've got crypto. Now, at a point, this wasn't really crypto in some ways. It's on Immutable, and it's on Ethereum now, so it's supposedly all pretty.
It is. It's done.
All the NFTs are supposedly on Immutable. Yeah. Okay. They're all migrated over. They've all got contract addresses and everything, so I'm assuming so. How much we know about it behind the scenes is a little bit hazy to me personally. Maybe others know more about it. But basically, you put on your card, you've got something called gems, which you can convert straight to OMI token. So they must have some sort of connection there. And yeah, so they seem to have an onboarding system. Whether it's legit or not, they say it is. You can take crypto from it in some capacity. So it's got some merit to it. How long do you think until Illuvium can set up a system that is simple for everyone to use? What do you reckon, Iluanor? Like in general, even?
So I think one of the big differences is it's going to be a real NFT. So real NFT is something you want to send it to me. And actually, that's how I did the transaction for this amazing lizard you can see on my screen. I just send the money to somebody, send me the image, and it was Vetemo, and we had trust, so we didn't need OpenSea. And that's how it should work, right? You should be able to interact with whatever you own without a platform, because if the only way to work is a platform, well, there's probably a database behind. It's kind of weird. Yeah. So now the onboarding, we think that they will be using Immutable X too, and Immutable X is planning to have a way to connect, just fiat money and credit cards so that you can buy in directly. So that's how you get people in, because for, let's say, a kid or just somebody, a normal player, if it's exactly the same to buy something from the DAO as buying a skin from Fortnite, basically there is a UI, I put my credit card and I got that. And well, yeah, they say it's an NFT. I don't even know what it is. I can still play. And then later on, when I learned that, hey, wait, this NFT you have, you can sell it for $2,000. Then you just find out what an NFT was. But that's how you really get people in. And that's one of the aspects. It has to be easy to get in. If you tell them, well, first you need to set up a MetaMask. Then you need to set it up for BSC. Then you need to be extremely careful when you will swap your BNB for whatever other token, and then they don't want to play. So that's one aspect, is the ease of accessing that. The other aspect is the game has to be fun. Like, again, like I think we all discussed that, and with Koyos we discussed too, that they just know the game right now. They interest me in crypto game. I want to be interested, but I'm just not interested. And the reality is, if you remove the money aspect from any of the actual game, nobody will play them. Now, I can play The Witcher for free. I can play Skyrim for free. I can play a lot of, even on the phone, all Mega Man X game for free. So if you get me a good game, I'll play it. Now, if it also can bring me money or competition where I can earn 50 million or something like that, it's just a game changer. I mentioned that in the past. I heard about Fortnite late because of the media and all the money that was in. I say, well, I should play this one instead of playing the other one. And that's exactly what will happen. And something that just to a quick... going back quickly to the investment side, something that is really, really smart in the tokenomics of Illuvium, and I think when we speak it's the future, I think it will be copied, and the contract were copied. It's how they locked the liquidity, right? Because DeFi started with Uniswap and that kind of thing. And in 2017, we create a token, you can sell it, but then you cannot trade it. You need to get in Binance, super hard, etc. And you had some really complicated tool like Ether Delta, but not very much used. Now with Uniswap, you send a token, you put liquidity, anybody can trade it. good. But why would they put liquidity when there is impermanent loss? Well, Illuvium just solved that. Just give you yield, and again, this yield just locks them for 12 months.
Yeah.
And it was genius. And now we got liquidity. We won't have any issue of liquidity for a while, which one of the main risks in crypto is rug pull, like they removes the liquidity. And here they don't put the liquidity themselves. They get other people to add liquidity and lock them in because they kind of lock the token. And I think it's actually something that will be used by startup more and more. And that's another part of the future.
Yeah, I think it's definitely giving a lot of power to the community as well. Instead of just getting VCs to invest in a project, you can have your community invest at the ground floor because there's so many benefits that they could gain from it. You add things like a 12-month lock, which was kind of like that missing piece, as Iluanor just said. When you go to a community, that sort of thing is really hard to engage with. Whereas with VCs and stuff, you have a lot of other framework in the background to help you set up proper seed investing terms and things like that. But with crypto, you can do a lot of this sort of stuff, and it's really quite powerful. So what I want to ask you, TSG, is MetaMask, I believe, currently does have a credit card type of thing where you can put in money and kind of gives you crypto. I don't know if you know much about that. I don't know a whole lot.
Yeah.
Do you think that's enough to onboard people that want to play the game?
Yeah. So actually, I just learned about that pretty recently because being in China, it's pretty difficult to be getting into crypto, like buying crypto. So one of my homies just told me that you can use Apple Pay on MetaMask now. So that's nuts. Yeah. I tried using it. It doesn't work still in China. But do I think it's enough to onboard? Nah, not at all, man. I think that's like the bare minimum. I think for me personally, I think the onboarding for fiat is going to be a huge thing. But I think what's actually going to make the whole NFT gaming thing really, really pop off is time and a proof of concept. Like we've kind of had an introduction to that already with Axie Infinity, where we've seen, oh man, people can make a living out of this. That was our first taste of a proof of concept, but with a game that's not of this generation. I'll say it's not of this generation's like level. So once we can see that we get the similar result in regards to people earning and being able to earn with a game with the quality of Illuvium or something like that. Once we see, it might not just be just Illuvium. It might take a couple of games. You've got what, big time? Is that what it's called? There's a couple of games that are coming out, right? Yeah, big time. There's a couple of cool games like that where once those come out and we really start to get attention on it from like someone was saying before, Twitch streamers, this like things like that. That I think is going to be more important, not more important, equally as important as the fiat onboard, offboard. Because you can have the ability to do it, but if people aren't interested, they're still not going to play, right? They're still not going to pay to do that. You can allow them to do that, but unless they see a purpose, a reason why they feel like, yo, I want to do this, it's in my opinion, it's not going to be enough. So I think we have time to see that happen. I think it's going to take time. It's not going to be a quick thing. But what do you think, man? I don't know. Do you agree, disagree? What are your opinions?
I think you're right. I think finding interest is going to be really important. So
I think the interest will come with money. Because again, like if you look at esport, but not money play to earn, money football like, soccer like, because esport in revenue, the best players are nowhere near real sports in what they're making, right? Some get maybe a few 100K, maybe 1 or 2 got $1 million, but compared to Messi or basketball, it's not comparable.
Right. Yeah.
But now, when you actually start having price of 50 million, 30 million, etc., that might be divided, but just it's going to be one competition, and then they'll do another one because they got this Rev Diesel will keep generating that, and then they'll be copied. And there'll be others, and you cannot create your new competition and pay $1 million when the others are paying 100 million. So there will be a lot of money pouring in. Plus, if you got that, then you got sponsors that will come in, and
it just sets the bar higher.
And then it just become an actual industry which already exists, but is like a real rock star kind of thing.
Yeah.
And
I wanted to ask.
I'll just quickly say I just googled it, and League of Legends has almost 200 million players, and Teamfight Tactics has about 10 million. Right. So if you even get like 5% of that, trying out the game, because let's face it, it looks better than Teamfight Tactics. Whether the gameplay is better or for an audience that wants it is another factor. But you even take some of that market share because they want to try a new auto battler, then that's a pretty big deal. So
it's huge. It's huge. I wanted to ask because I agree with what you said there, but I do want to ask, what do you guys think is going to be the best way to like market like the NFT games, or Illuvium and specifically, if you want to talk about that? Because obviously we've gone away from like obviously TV adverts, newspaper adverts, and influencer advertising is, I don't know, do you guys still think it's the same as it used to be maybe a couple of years ago? Do you think it's changed? Like what do you think is going to be, we can't just, is putting ads on Instagram enough? Like what do you guys think is going to be the best?
I think,
what are your opinions?
I think it's evolving. I think it's still a big chunk of that market when people are streaming themselves playing the game. I mean, but it also helps directly tie it too, because that's the thing that's really interesting here, right? If you have someone that streams TFT and has 10 million viewers or 10 million followers or whatever, and that person all of a sudden then says, oh, I'm going to play Illuvium today. This is why I like it. You get an audience that's really close, right? With other kinds of marketing, it's quite broad. You can't. It's really
throwing out a fishing line.
You can get.
It's like a vampire attack. You get the streamer, you get the community. And we have that with Hobay and a few.
So with like a broader marketing strategy, you get like gamers, or you get gamers that like strategy games. You don't get TFT players. If you grab a streamer that's got half of every TFT player watching them every now and then you've got a very different approach, right? And you're engaging with the community you think will be most likely to at least give your game a chance or have a look at it. And then you've got an influencer telling them that they're making money with it.
The conversion rate can be higher.
But then it really depends on marketing, right? Because I got in through TikTok, but it was not a guy that I knew. I just saw that randomly, and if I got an influencer telling me, like a real ad, oh, today I play Illuvium, it's awesome, you should play it too, and that's it. That's useless. You need people that really are planning to get in, and if they really stream it because they like it and they can be sponsored, then that's awesome. But just sponsoring people that would do it for the money would not work. They won't do that. They're pretty smart.
No, I think the whole Twitch thing, the streamers, I think that's probably going to be the go-to. I think that's going to be the most effective. Like you said, the conversion rate's going to be higher.
Well, I think that's going to be one of the strengths they're going to play to, at least in the early days. They might do some other things as well, but they did hire one of the lead Twitch marketers as well as a lead Riot marketer. So they've got a team that's in that sort of world already. So they'll probably leverage that to a certain degree for sure. So one thing I did want to have a look at, I know a lot of people want to know about the ILV price and where it's heading and things like that. So I'm going to really quickly chuck my screen up. Now, obviously, there are a lot of factors in the world right now, okay? So...
Like what?
Okay.
Like what? Yeah, well, explain.
There's a lot going on right now, okay? And it's... in the world, I don't really want to delve into that too much, but it's really hard to gauge where the market is going, where it could be heading and things like that. And obviously this is not financial advice, but I just want to show you a few things I've been looking at. The big thing, and I'll be making a video on this hopefully next week sometime, but the big thing I want to talk about is I've got this diagram down here, okay? And this is called the time segmented volume. Now, are either of you guys very into TA or anything at all?
I understand very well TA. I use it. I believe it's a religion, and it's extremely useful to manipulate people that believe in that, and bots are trained for that. So basically, I do bots, and when it's not really liquid, that some people will look at Fibonacci. That they'll look at all those different indicators. So you can just guide the price if you got enough money to those level to then do the exact opposite. Just break a resistance. And then everybody will will act one way, and it's the perfect occasion to do the exact opposite. So that's actually really dangerous. And
I think Iluanor is 100% right. I think you need to take it from what you will, but you cannot. The last thing you will ever want to do is put 100% of your focus into a chart. I think TA can be very powerful and it can help with certain things, but it cannot tell you the future. Okay, most TA, and you've got things like death crosses and golden crosses and things. Pretty much all TA is lagging indicators. They kind of tell you things after the fact, which has some usefulness and has some value, but I wouldn't 100% focus on it. But there is one thing I wanted to look at. So I have the TSV down here, and that's time segmented volume. And all that does is it kind of shows you where volume is heading and in what direction and things like that. And it uses segmented time. So it doesn't just focus on this point in time, it focuses on the years past and things like that as well. And I have the ATR, which is average true range. That's right. So it just kind of measures volatility. Whenever it spikes up, then the asset becomes even more volatile. And amongst all the stuff that's going on, I know Bitcoin had a little dip here from the things that are happening in the background, but realistically, it wasn't actually that big of a movement. Personally, I expected a lot worse to happen given what's going on, and a lot worse still could happen. So definitely be careful and definitely always invest over time. Never try to all in or anything. But what I wanted to say just quickly here is this here, it crossed here. And again, it was a lagging indicator. It crossed long after the new pump started. You didn't catch the bottom by any stretch. But on the daily time frame, the time that it crossed upwards was the time that we entered into this second phase of the bull run. Now, at the moment, we're looking like we could start to enter that territory again. Obviously, we're still a long way away from crossing, so we're maybe a long way away from returning to any sense of bullish territory. But you can see the volume is falling off, and we are moving in that direction. So I think there's definitely interest there, as well as the volatility returning to a baseline, which it always does before it makes any gigantic move. You can see here that it returned to this baseline over here, and then it pumped up. And we haven't quite hit that yet. So I'm waiting for a few things to talk about first before I make some of those videos. But I just think it's worth noting that we didn't massively drop yet. And we still could. But definitely keep some in the wings if you can. If you're afraid, if you're nervous, keep some in the wings. Don't try and focus on the charts too hard. And yeah, I think at some point Bitcoin will make a return. Maybe it won't be this year. Maybe it won't be next year. But at some point, I still believe in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. And if you believe in cryptocurrency, if you believe in Illuvium, that is what should be making your decisions. It shouldn't be technical analysis, fundamental analysis. It should be, do I believe in this project? Do I think it will do well? I'll put money in and wait 5 years.
I think the question. I think yes. I'll just say something real quick. I think like the main thing is, do you think crypto is going to be around in the next 10 years? Like, I think that's.
Yeah, definitely. I think it definitely is a race in the world, but I think a lot of countries are also working against it. So I'm
less and less. Again, if you compare with 2017, 2018, when everything crashed, etc. Well, first, most were idea like at the smart contract level and not done. But here I'm from the inside, mostly on the banking side, but everybody is looking at it now. Like, I was kind of the guy that mentioned that in the past, and then some would make joke of me because they're like, where are the Bitcoin guy, in 2018, like to see, are you broke now? And then they come back and they start asking, because the thing is, people that were really against that, just tulip mania kind of view, they just see Bitcoin and crypto dying every 4 years for a while now. And they're not stupid. Something that just refused to die might become big, and it smells like the internet. And some people really got that smell on, dude, internet at the very beginning, they would say was only for child pornography, and it was, a disaster and useless and slow, etc. And a lot of people were totally against it. but slowly you just got adoption, and it's inevitable. And we're getting there now. What will happen? The macro aspect is super important. Like if there is a huge crash in 2008, the solution to the subprime, etc., slowly created another bubble, which is like really big now, like globally. So it might pop at some point, but it could be in 10 years. When I discuss that, people we know there is a huge bubble. We know it will explode. You know, the guy from The Big Short?
Machiavelli, right?
Yeah. So he did mention, like, so it's not always right, but we know that last time it was too early. What I'm thinking, it might be too early again, and maybe it's going to be in 1 or 2 years. But the mother of all crisis is his opinion is coming. So we'll see, and we see, you know, even everything, inflation, the price of U.S. houses is going high like before, etc. So we'll see how it goes. But some things that, I think everybody was surprised, or many people were surprised that the price of Bitcoin, Ethereum, etc., went back up like yesterday and today, But one aspect is also, you know, the market doesn't like uncertainty. So will they attack Ukraine? Well, there's no doubt about that now. Right?
Yeah,
so
exactly,
you know it's priced in, etc. So now it's more about what other uncertainty will come.
Yeah,
we'll see. I'm still bullish for this year. Not financial advice, but
Hey, honestly, if you're bullish, Iluanor, then I am too. I'm as scared as everyone else right now, and I think that's the thing. It's one of those things. But once you've been in crypto for long enough, eventually it does start to go away. Just as long as I'm not investing more than I'm willing to lose.
Yeah, exactly.
As long as you don't invest in really bad token, right? Because if you play the gamble, and I did it, everybody start like, okay, you start with Bitcoin, you move to Ethereum, you move to a first blue chip project, and then the killer of this project, and then lower and lower because this other guy did 1000x. And if you're in those token, when there is a real crash, well, you're done because they will not go back up. Now, I think Illuvium, we never know, but I think Illuvium is really something that is different, and it's like Ethereum, etc. So Ethereum and Bitcoin, they'll come back, especially Ethereum for me. But Illuvium, and they mention it themselves, for the land, for the token, once you give a dividend or revenue, everything changes. The way people look at it and look at all the prediction you did, people are not thinking like Doge or Axis land when they had zero utility. When you have zero utility, it's all about dream. So it can go really high, safe moon, etc. It's all what it could be, and what it could be can be the next bigger than Tesla, but then it crash. When you actually say, okay, it's going to be 5% revenue, well, suddenly nobody care about scarcity anymore. They care about what is the ROI, and it's good and bad because the price might not pump as much as if it was a Shiba Inu Floki or whatever useless thing, But it's good if there is that kind of crash, because if the revenue of that thing is $1,000 a year or month or whatever, that's what will be used to actually evaluate it. And look, medium term is what will happen. If it's not the case, then it's even more amazing, because basically you can buy something maybe for $10 that generates you 1,000. It won't stay like that for long. So
I think that's a very good point. You go on, TSG. What do you want to say?
Yeah, sorry, I wanted to ask you guys, because we talk about, like you said, there is a chance that there are a lot of new people in crypto that haven't been part of a crash, or they've only seen the upside, right? Because there's a lot of new investors in stocks, crypto, and they've only seen upsides. And like, I'll be completely real. I'm a little bit worried that a lot of people aren't mentally prepared for what might happen if it's not even if it's not a bear market, if it's a sideways market, something like that. So you guys said you are bullish this year. I'm personally indifferent. Like, if it's bullish, cool. If it's not, cool. I'll probably be investing anyway, because I don't need the money right now. It's a long-term thing. But I wanted to ask you guys, like, if it is a sideways or a bear market, like, what is it's very easy to say, oh, if it's a bull market, I'm happy. If it is a sideways market, bear market, what are your thoughts? Like, what are your approaches? What are you still gonna, like, what is your approach? How are you guys going to feel about that? Because I think it's important for new people to see that even us, is like, where we've had a bit more experience, that is not like, oh my God, I'm lost you know what I mean? Like it's
It will happen.
not just
It will
looking at
happen.
euphoria.
Yeah,
It's
there'll be
not looking at
blood
the
on the
euphoria.
street. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but what are you guys feeling?
Absolutely.
How would you guys feel? What are your approaches? What are you guys going to do if a sideways market does hit for a year, 2 years, or a bear market, worst case scenario? Like, yeah, instead of just because I don't want to just give them that hopium of complete euphoria. I want to be somewhat realistic, especially for those inexperienced people. I think that we could provide a lot of value in that. So Illinois, Scoriox. I feel like, what's your?
Honestly, I'm trying to DCA at the moment, but I haven't done a very good job. I'm going to be completely frank with you. I tried to start DCAing about 2 months ago. Then the fancy birds started coming out, and the lizards, and I took all my money and I put it into stuff. So I've been really bad. I'm not very good at this. I'm still learning, like many of you guys. But I'm still trying to focus on my DCA and getting better at all that and things like that. I think if we did hit a bear market or a moving sideways and it was clear that it was going to be going on for a long time, I think I'd be a lot better at it because the market would be boring, which would mean that all I want to do is focus on other stuff. The other thing was that the YouTube channel is helping with a lot of that as well. It's taken my time away from trying to focus on the charts and whatever else and trading and all that sort of crap. And it's given me focus on the Illuvium game and focus on the game because I really love what it's doing. I love the project. I want to help out as many as I can. It takes my mind away from it. So now I just have like an alarm or whatever that goes off. DCA this amount today. And then I get on with my week. I don't really look at a lot. I look at the RV token and Ethereum sometimes for the channel and otherwise. But yeah, I think once it gets boring, I will find it easier to DCA. But I've not been very good at that, and I'm still learning. I think a lot of people are still learning. What do you reckon, Iluanor?
Well, again, I'm still hoping for some kind of last round of exponential growth until a big crash. The problem is the timing, because all the timing used to be related to Bitcoin and the halving. But now if we got, for instance, the stacking of Ethereum in June or July, if they don't postpone more, well, it's really good for ESG. A lot of people can get in because of that, and even institutions. So that's one aspect. But ARK Capital, Katie Wood.
Yeah.
Well, she had a big idea summit presentation not that long ago, a few weeks back, and she mentioned her own, goal for Bitcoin and Ethereum in 2030. One was, Bitcoin at 1 million, and all good. I'm coughing all the time. I got that since COVID. And the other one was a number for market cap of Ethereum. And if you translate this market cap with some burn, it's like an Ethereum at 200K. And I was aiming at 100K. So I'm glad somebody is looking for higher than that. So that's all that matter. Now, there'll be blood in the street at some point. And I think it's going to be really, really bad, because when you mention people always and only, lived in a market with an uptrend, that's exactly what happened. I got friends that are doing an extremely good living scalping, like day trading on stocks. But they started after 2008. Like they never had, the moment where you just lose everything in way faster, etc. So most people, and it's more than that. Like for instance, Pantera Capital, you might have heard of them.
No, I think it rings a bell, but not really.
So Pantera Capital, I think I forgot who owned them, but it's a hedge fund, a VC. They got a lot of money. They've been early. They're making a killing. Like they're all becoming billionaires just out of the fees they earn. But when you look at and when you share that with CeFi bankers, etc., and they look at the return, they're like, oh my god, like it's insane. Yeah, but then I kind of look at them and say, well, actually, they had a return lower than just holding Ethereum.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. Like, and it's the same for the small retail investor. Oh my god, I doubled my money. Yeah, but the market tripled. So actually, not that good, and you're just in something going up. So I think at some point it will go down. Nobody knows when. But then there's all those advice that are super interesting from Warren Buffett, or at least his opinion on that. On investing only on stuff you believe in. Diversifying is just something to leverage or to manage ignorance, and he's kind of not using this. And then the aspect of cash, because you were mentioning DCA, and that's how I sort of that. His opinion is he doesn't want to have a lot of cash, but sometimes he just has. Or right now he has a lot, because once something reach a point where he think he should sell, will sell. But yeah, so it's more about thinking, is something of value? I think those lizards are doing a pretty good job. At some point we should speak of them. And I was really not interested at all. Then I had this interview with Polemos. And then he mentioned more or less what Hot Sauce mentioned, what they were doing. I said, oh, that's smart. Creating some kind of competition for, non-crypto game and getting reward in Ethereum. That's interesting. Just imagine you're really good in poker. I'm really not. I don't even remember the rules.
I love poker. I love poker.
Okay, so imagine you both love poker. I need to learn again. And then you find out that there's these small communities that you might call shitty if you're not part of it and you don't like NFT. And they're just, betting 30K for the winner. It's kind of what they want to do. And you're thinking, well, dude, how do I get in and crush them? Just give me an entry, right? I just need to buy this lizard. And people will come in if they see it as free money to win competition, and then the other guy will do the same, and then suddenly it became something, and you actually need a pass to get in the club. So
yeah. I think that's going to be a big part of Illuvium that I'm excited for is all the smaller tournaments as well. So even in the Shiny Shards Guild, and the link is in the description down below. You can definitely join the guild, and we're going to be running our own tournaments and things down the line as well. So it'll probably have some sort of entry fee. Maybe it won't, depending on what happens. I mean, maybe we have a tournament where it has an entry fee that helps fund a free tournament down the road as well, and stuff like that. Like, I think there's so many people, and if they all get on board, they'll be able to host their own tournaments and things. And NFTs are a good way to have entry passes and stuff like that. For the same reason, I think NFTs are powerful outside of gaming as well. And in the form of movie tickets or otherwise. I think
real estate.
I think
real
they have
estate,
a lot of utility in the future. And that's not limited to just the Illuvium game or NFT gaming in general. And I think that's quite powerful, and that should definitely be considered. I'll definitely talk about that more in future streams as well. But for now, I think we're going to start wrapping it up and get to the Q&A. Are there anything else you guys wanted to talk about before we do that?
I'm good. Was awesome to get here.
Stay safe out there, guys. Stay safe. Just chill out. I
can't really see any questions. I think one person earlier on in the stream did ask though, what price do you think ILV is going to be at the end of the year?
Let's go around. I want to hear this.
I'll let you guys take it off. No, you don't want to say TSG?
No. I'll say. I want to see what you guys say first. Iluanor, what are you thinking, man?
So I have a very specific opinion about the unlocking. So everything depends on what will happen. Will they postpone it, etc.? We still know that there will be some. So people are saying, no, the unlocking is really bad if people sell. My opinion is, well, the unlocking will affect the price because it's like a dilution as if they were meeting them. Not fully, but a lot of people are looking at the market cap of Illuvium and say, oh, it's 300 million. It's not. It's really, really big. And one of the big difference that soon enough, well, most of those will actually be in like fully diluted. Like there's actually all be there. It was like, I think 14% that will be delayed, maybe 3 years or something like that. We'll see if they can lock some VC out and have more. But just think of that. Like if people were thinking, so some people are smarter and look at the actual full valuation, considering everything. But those are just getting without checking when there is an unlock, might think, I don't know, they got tokens, they're not using them. And it will double pretty fast in the next few months. So that's actually why I'm getting in the land first, because the land will be at some point in 3 years diluted by 5, but the revenue will increase while the token will be diluted by almost 14 if you consider all the token, etc. I'm still interested in the token. I really hope the game, would be in March, etc. And they've been discussing, I saw on the Discord, to actually have a delay for the unlocking of the team, because there's a team, there's a seed, there's a pre-seed, and then later on you got the yield farming, which cannot be delayed that easily, except if they just lock them in something else, which they might somehow as an option, right? If they give you a really good deal. And they're planning to work with, by the way, Eileen and Kane. You saw that, to actually offer that kind of deal to people. So end of the year, I think it's just, looking crystal balls. There's just no way to know. Now, if we look really short term or really long term, I got some hope or opinions.
Yeah. Tell us.
Yeah.
Really short term, if the game can be released in a pre-beta open tool, well, ideally if it was the open beta and the dilution was not that hard yet, it will pump like Gala. You saw Gala, I think. So, and Gala has really more nervous move recently. Like it goes 20% up, it goes 20% down when Illuvium is moving 5%. Because I don't know, it's been so much money added in extra, people are nervous. I think with the land of sale, with the Illuvita, which we didn't discuss, but is another way to invest and trade, there is a chance to go back, in maybe 2000 again, maybe 4. I was hoping 4 if it was in March, but now let's see, just out of the hype. Because if it like Doge could get and Shiba, like if you get Moon Boys, it can go high. Now we'll see. I think it's an option. I'm not convinced it will happen, but then I'm really looking more at the long term and at the revenue it can generate. Because then there's a different way to look at it. Scoyox use many. I think a revenue of 1 billion is not that crazy. Axie did it, right? That's mostly my thing. If Axie did it, we can do it. Come on.
Yeah.
So
I think
that's
Sandbox and Axie and things like that have all gone close to 10 billion.
Yeah, but it's selling, like Sandbox has been selling land, right? And it's the core of what they do. So what next?
Right?
Like they will have a fee on transaction, but it's going to be 5% of that. So, or something like that. So that's one aspect. Axie didn't sell Axie. Axie got a fee from the transaction. So that's more realistic to compare, in my opinion, right? But yeah, so if you just think of the dividend aspect, and an institution. Well, institutions are looking for yield, and common type of trader are looking for yield. And if you can get something at 5% when you look at dividend, etc. Well, yeah, Walmart must be like at 2%, S&P Global like at 0.7%. There's a lot of people that if you got 1% or 2 dividend, well, that's their world. That's what they have anyway, and it's one way to diversify. So long term, we could have that kind of difference, and then you can look at the kind of PE ratio. Well, if you look at the revenue you think you'll have, which I think for 1 billion is ignoring the burn, it's like 100 per token. Well, the PE ratio of Tesla at some point was, I think, in 1,000. Right now, it's in hundreds. In Tex, it tend to be way above 20 right now. So, well, like I think long term at 10K is possible. It would be a big valuation because you would be bigger than Activision or etc. Blizzard. But well, inflation is helping too, right? So I think
yeah. I think
but it won't
really
be a 1,000x. Like I'm not.
I think it's really interesting you say that because Bitcoin and Ethereum, some people like to look at them as they move very similarly to highly speculative tech stocks. And obviously ILV follows Ethereum quite closely as well. So you've got this thing where it's clear from the charts that the institutions and things, they're starting to get into this stuff because it's starting to move similar to stocks, and they're all tracking each other a lot.
But that's because of arbitrage, right? If you look at Illuvium, is following almost 100% Ethereum. Some say Bitcoin, but because Ethereum is following Bitcoin too. And it's just like there's not like the communities that just trade at the same time. It's all bots. And they do the same with stocks. So
yeah, definitely. So, but it's starting to become more like stocks, and as that happens, then Iluanor's right. Yield and things are going to become more important. And currently, Illuvium is one of the only things that does that. So, if the project is powerful, and I know a lot of people do recognize the gaming industry a lot more now than they did, let's say, 5 years ago. Obviously, gaming has become a superpower, and we'll just see if people start to recognize it even more. How much bigger can it become? I mean, the metaverse, a lot of companies are trying to get into it. And yeah, so it's going to be quite powerful.
Just think of kids, right? There's a lot of kids I know, they want to be YouTuber. Like
100%.
Now they want to be YouTuber, but why? Well, because YouTuber, if you look on TikTok, they are, hey, what do you do for a living? You got a Ferrari. Well, I'm YouTuber, right? And there's many are like that. Some are making a lot of money, or they want to be a football player. There's not many kids that say, some say I want to create video game, but not many say I want to be an esport player. Yeah. And one of the reasons is you don't have the hype because you don't have the money in.
Yeah.
When you
100%.
can earn 5 million plus, not once, but potentially being a champion and just doing it, then it's going to be like being a tennis player, like being, maybe even more than that. And well, this changed everything. Like suddenly everybody is looking at that. Yeah. And then the valuation of something that hosts this can be pretty big.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you're right. It can become a career, and that's something that some people seem to ignore. It's like being a tennis player isn't free. You're not only paying entry to tournaments, you're paying for coaches, trainers, allies. To train and do that full time costs money because it costs time. And that's what gaming can become in the future. And that's what it's starting to become through play to earn. Just while you're saying your next thing, TSG, Terran Lives Matter has asked, what is your favorite Illuvium?
I want to answer the end of year or the price prediction thing first. Short term, no clue. That's complete speculation. Long term, I think it is obviously going to go up. So I think for those people that are looking to invest or are investing, as long as your time period, the time that you're looking to invest and hold it for is longer, you can relax a bit. And what Skariak said, if you can start to fine tune your DCAing, that I think, because that's what I've been doing as well. So in regards to giving specific end of prices, everyone knows that's just like what Iluanor said, looking at a crystal ball, we can't do that. But long term, if you have that time frame, that's what I was looking for. If you have that long time frame, you're fine. As for the favorite Illuvium, I actually think that I just got mine recently. That Komodo, the Stage 3 Komodo Dragon. That thing looks beast. That looks beast. Yo, it's big and chilling. Oh man, I don't know the name. Has that name been announced yet? I don't know. But
sure.
But that one for me, definitely top three for me. I'm saying top 3 because I don't know exactly where I sit on the others, but top 3 for me. What are you guys? What do you guys reckon?
Scorex is easy, right?
Scorex is easy. Yeah. Stupid.
It would be really hard.
Why? I'm curious why. Can you explain why it's your favorite? What about it made you feel like, yo, this is the one?
Oh, God, you're killing me. I've always liked
fire.
Fire, yeah. I like burning things down. My old house, gone.
My favorite starters have always been the water types. My favorite Pokemon type is the normal type. But one of my favorite Pokemon is Giratina. I've always liked the devil, outcast, rebel, kind of like that sort of realm. My favorite Pokemon is also Dunsparce. So they're both very serpentine looking, right? So I guess serpentine looking comes to Scoriox, but just kind of influences from looking like a devil sort of creature, things like that. And that's kind of my favorites.
Right.
Beyond that. I just think they look cool for that reason and that background and that sort of thing. And Scoriox fit the bill.
The name is good.
Fair.
Scoriox.
Yeah, Scoriox is a sick name. That is a sick name.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. What about you, Iluanor? What's your favorite?
Iluanor, what's up? Yo, Atlas. Atlas is the way.
I like Atlas, but I mentioned last time, I forgot his name again. It's this kind of panther that is, I think, a bit purple. And,
the one of the Illuvitar, right? Oh,
yeah, it's an Illuvial, but it's been used as Illuvitar.
As the Illuvitar, right?
Yeah,
one of the first ones. Yeah.
So,
that's one of the Lynxes, right? Is that one of the Lynxes?
I don't think so. People say that.
They're separate.
No, right, separate. My bad. Yeah.
I think at some point I know all the name, but right now I'm not there.
No. That's gonna take time.
Yeah. Once you catch them and you see them, in the Illuvidex, or it was
Illuviary.
Illuviary,
yeah.
Illuvium, and then it's the same with people and name. Like for instance, when first time I went in China, I was introduced to a team of like 300 people, and you're a French new guy, and that's your name, and that's it. For you, so many names, and it's really hard to get them. But then if you got them on Facebook or you get them somewhere, then you really map the name written.
Or you have a conversation with them.
So the last thing we're going to talk about here today is that Anthony Wayland is under the impression that it's not really a question per se, but he reckons that regulation will kill Illuvium. Now, obviously, regulation is a difficult one to engage with here, but as we've been talking about, banks and institutions and things are becoming more friendly to crypto. So maybe regulation could change in the future. So he's talking a bit more specifically about the US. Australia is quite positive with crypto at the
quite
moment.
Liberal,
they could change their opinion instantly. Like who knows?
Yeah.
But at the moment they're being quite friendly. And there are many countries that are being friendly. Obviously, China is not one of them. So what do you guys think about just really briefly? What do you guys think about regulation and how it might affect this?
I'm curious to know what his expectations, because there's so many types of regulations, right? I wonder what he thinks, what type of regulation is gonna.
There's different aspect in Illuvium, right? One aspect that I'm kind of afraid, but maybe they just get a casino online license, something like that, is definitely the betting on stuff. Like when you start to have a casino or even the loot box. Like honestly, I would just have a tier 5 and pay for a tier 5. Can be random with Illuvial or Illuvita, but it would not be a random the tier I get. But so that's kind of a casino thing. So you got something of value, or you can bet against something. They know, and they mention in interviews that it can be a bit weird. The good thing is that right now regulators are not looking at all at games. At some point they will, and the bigger they'll become, they will. But they're barely getting in DeFi, right? They're still looking at Bitcoin. so they're really behind on this aspect. Now, I wouldn't say the US is really against it. The US changed a lot. And what is amazing is that China just went totally against it because they were so dominant in mining, etc., that actually they could have taken over everything, and it was kind of dangerous. I was scared of that. But now the US is reacting and thinking, this could be ours.
There's the opportunity,
and there is a lobbying that is being created. There are like, in which country did state started some bills to have Bitcoin as legal tender? Well, they did it in Arizona. I think they want to do it in other places. Well, they might not pass, but did they do that in France? No. Did they do that in South America? Well, South America, they speaking of that, but I don't think there's a bill. In Australia, I don't think they did that. So they're more. It's a devising thing, but they're more friendly than we think, I think. And Ethereum never ever had enemy, which is something really weird. Ripple, well, SEC lawsuit. I don't like Ripple anyway. I don't like Cardano and stuff. But Bitcoin mentioned everywhere. A lot of people against it. Ethereum as a platform, including the token, almost nobody is complaining about it. That's crazy. And why? Well, because there's a lot of money behind it. I think of powerful institutions that.
Yeah. What do you think? Sorry, in regards to the whole regulation thing.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a matter of time, but Iluanor was right. They're not really looking at gaming, and loot boxes have existed for a long time. And they've never really touched it. There's a lot of money that goes into in-game purchases and in-app purchases, and they've never really looked at it. The fact that you can take money out, should that affect it? I don't know. I don't know what to think, to be honest. I mean, nothing has changed besides the fact that you can also take something out. So I think what they're going to regulate isn't going to be games and gaming per se, but if they try to regulate something like NFTs or DeFi, it could have a knock-on effect. But until they start doing that, I think we just got to wait and see. That's kind of how I see it. I don't know if that's very accurate to a lot of people, but I think there's too many elements inside it.
Yeah, because there is definitely a risk. There's definitely a risk with regulation, but how big that risk is still up in the air. Like, that's the thing that we don't know. There obviously is a risk. What exactly that risk is, how it's going to play out, and also like we're saying, different countries have different regulations. So as for Illuvium as an entire studio, if one country regulates it a bit tighter than the others, what does that mean for Illuvium? Like I personally don't have that answer. So
well, you need the
it's gonna be
gamers,
interesting.
right? And if they're
Yeah.
all in one place, that's a problem. I mean, China obviously has a decently large gaming sector,
Huge.
but it's all closed
Huge.
off inside China. So that's
Yeah,
its own thing.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, Australia has never been enough to carry games to where they need to be on its own, even if that was like a major thing. And the EU is pretty good as well. But I think there are a lot of American gamers and a lot of American gamers that love it and everything and all the rest of it. A lot of the statistics are kind of focused there sometimes because of how big it is in that country. So if they regulate it stricter, it could harm Illuvium's growth. But I believe that it'll just take longer to grow than anything else.
Do you reckon where again, like leaning into that, where do you reckon the biggest market for Illuvium gamers is going to be? Do you think it is going to be America? Do you think it is going to be like the Southeast Asia's, like Philippines, Singapore's?
There are statistics on that. I don't know, Scott, if you want to go first, but
well, I've got I don't want to look at studies per se, but if you look at my YouTube analytics, I think you've got America, Brazil, the top two by far.
Right.
You've got, I think Vietnam and Philippines are in there, and then Australia's in there as well.
Cool.
But the USA is probably up the top in my analytics for people watching my content and watching crypto content in general and stuff like that. I think
because of the language, right?
Yeah, like, of course. Yeah.
Like on,
because if you go to like a Filipino,
But no, there is a stats that I think Kieran gave of who registered by country, etc. Plus he has stat from Discord, which is not perfect, but it's a view. It seems that Brazil is massive, I think, and they have a huge esport place. I got some friends that were in that, and I didn't realize, but then they got this huge room. They're doing a lot of different competition, and I saw that France is pretty high, like top 5 or top 3. Then you got Philippines, but we'll need to see Philippines. So one of the issues we know about Illuvium right now is it's going to be on PC, and it seems you need to have a really big PC, which is even more awesome if you're early and you have a PC, because you'll be able to just gather a lot of stuff during that time. So Philippines might not be able to be at the scale they were with Axie because of that. But I think Europe will be big. I think North America and Brazil, based on what we've seen so far.
So that's really interesting. Again, I think we should start to wrap it up now. It's going a bit long at the moment. Also, guys, I'm going to be focusing on making some highlight videos and things down the road for some of these streams to help a lot of you guys watch it in a more digested manner as well. But obviously, I'm going to keep the streams going. And they're important to me, and I know a lot of others, and I love sharing all this with the community. Again, don't forget to sub to these guys. They've got really interesting information. They know a lot of different things about Illuvium, a lot of things that I don't know about Illuvium. So that's the point of community, right? We all bring different strengths to the table, and that's always valuable. So definitely thanks, guys, for coming on the channel and speaking with me and having a chat, as always. So if you guys want to say anything.
Thanks for having me on, man. This is my first time doing a stream, so it was pretty cool. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. I hope I added some value somehow. So thank you, guys.
No, I think it's the one that I enjoy the most. Like it's fully Illuvium, etc. So it was great.
Cool. cool. I'm glad. Thank you, Scarix. Thank you, Iluanor. And cool.
See you guys.
Cool. See you all.
Peace.